All right, guys, welcome back to the DrewCast, episode 119. I'm your host, Mellow15. With me tonight, like he always is, my disembodied voice, Jo. Welcome, guys. I look ridiculous, by the way. I know I'm wearing sunshades inside, which, if you're new to this channel, don't comment that, because we know you're going to comment that, and I'm tricking the Matrix, bro. I'm tricking the Matrix. I was on TikTok, and it's hella funny. On a TikTok, I saw this in this comments, like, why is this... They weren't talking about me, right? But it was another video. They're like, why is that guy wearing shades inside? And I was like, gotcha. Everybody look. This is what I'm talking about. So last year I went on like this month run where I would wear shades every podcast. And I was like, hey, we're trolling the Matrix dog because people are going to comment on the every clip I sent out. They're going to comment on it. Why is this dumbass wearing shades inside? Gotcha, bro. You just made the algorithm go up. So that's why we do it here. But also, I'm wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt. I believe it's a Hawaiian t-shirt. If it's not, people from Hawaii don't, you know what I mean? There's like people like Mark Zuckerberg and them. They're literally stealing land from you. And I might have misrepresented a t-shirt, but you know. And I'm actually, this shirt under it says Mexico because I'm half Mexican. So, you know, and this last weekend was Pride. So it's like really hot outside and it's kind of like vacation-y type of like weather. So... And I feel like I just over-explained my outfit, but that's probably just my anxiety talking. But yeah, for those who follow me on Instagram, I made a story a couple days ago. Well, not a couple days ago. It's probably like 5 at this point. Talking about kind of feeling a little burned out. And if you guys are avid watchers of what I do, I don't like feeling like that. I like coming here and like, you know, obviously I like entertaining, but I also like... You know, I also like talking about deep stuff and talk about funny stuff. And I don't like phoning it in. I don't believe in giving you guys subpar content. But the last couple weeks, especially I would say the last 2 months, I'd probably say around like 2 to 3, 5 months. It's just been like my personal life has just been in like shambles, disarray type shit from all angles, bro. And you guys know how that is. Like we're all adults here. Hopefully, if you're watching me, you're an adult. And you've been through that. Like, you know, there's things in your life that you can't control and like everything just starts crumbling at your feet and like there's nothing you can do. So, you know, and I try to be like a strong, tough person, but you know, sometimes that shit can get to you, you know? So I wanted to apologize if that's what it seems like for the last couple of weeks, but I've been putting in a lot of work, especially with that UFO, you know, the Las Vegas crash, the whistleblower videos. I've been trying to like, you know, deliver the right type of content here. So, but yeah, next week I'll be ready, pumped, ready to go. This week though, we're going to talk about, so me and Justin, by the way, if you guys are new here, Justin's my brother. We do hang out occasionally, by occasionally every week. So, you know, and some people will tell me this like, oh, I wish I had that type of relationship. And it's kind of weird because like, since we always do, it's like, wait, you don't hang out with your brothers? Or like I've met people who have like way bad relationships with their brothers, you know, and it just strikes me as weird, you know, like, I don't know if you guys go through this or not, but like there's times when like, even like when we were kids, but sometimes as adults, like we'll argue about stuff to send or like we'll say like really fucked up mean shit to each other. Not like too fucked up, right? Like, hey bro, you get what I'm saying though, but we've said some fucked up shit and then like the next day it's like, hey bro, you want to go hoop? You know, we've always had that relationship where like we've been really fucking mean, bro. Like me and you've had some like heated ass debates where you probably wouldn't even like, hey bro, I'm trying to fucking play games. I'm trying to have fun, and this guy's over here talking about his babysitter touching him, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I sometimes I would be really annoying, and like, I'm like, Justin, bro, and I'm sitting like blowing Justin's phone up, and he's probably like, "Don't try to get some pussy, Doug," but you know, so. But yeah, it's funny because we'll say like the craziest shit to each other, and like it just the next day, everything's fine, and I like that, bro. It should be like that, you know. Like I'm not about to sit there and hold grudges, especially if it's Justin, so. But yeah, we were hanging out this weekend a couple days ago. We were in Renton. Great area, by the way, because I think it was Coolon Beach, which I didn't know like that it extended the length that it did. Pause, by the way. But we were talking about North Sentinel Island. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's what we're going to start this episode off with. So it's an island in the Indian Ocean that in 1956, they actually made it illegal to go there, right? So you can't go within 3 miles of it. They have like armed guards, like, you know, patrolling in the waters, you know, photography is prohibited, you know, so like they take it really serious, right? And if you guys have like watched videos on it or done any research on North Sentinel Island. It's an uncontacted tribe, basically, right? Well, in the past, people have gone there, and have made contact with these people, but it never really ends good, right? There's been a few cases where a guy like that one guy, I don't know what his name is, but he showed up and gave them coconuts and they actually had like a good interaction with them, right?
It was like in the 80s or 90s, right?
Yeah, it was it was at that time period. So you got the time period, right? And he seemed to have like somewhat cordial interactions with them. He didn't take it further than that though, right? He didn't try to force religion on them. And because there was that one guy, and I watched a video on this the other day. We could put his name up right here. But there was a guy who's basically like a missionary, and he was trying to go to the island to teach them about God and stuff, right? And he actually ended up dying. And he even wrote in his journal, in his journal, he was telling his family, like, hey, don't blame these people. It's not their fault. Like, this is what God wanted me to do, which is kind of like a weird statement. I told you that too when we were talking about it. I was like, well, what? Like, not that I would be mad. Like, if you did that to son, and it's the same circumstance, right? I almost I wouldn't be mad at the people. I'd have like, damn, my brother was so ingrained in religion that he felt he had to give his only life that he gets here doing that. Like there was nothing more important to you, which is fine, right? Like everybody has like careers and passions, right? It's cool. But was it worth dying though? I don't know. Like clearly these people didn't want to, because he went multiple times before he died, right? So clearly they didn't want that. But you felt like God's message was so important. You don't even know what God they worship, because they might worship a God, we don't know, right? But you don't know that, and so you thought your God's message was so important that it was worth dying for. Which I don't know. That was really sad when I heard about that. I was like, damn, dude. But
my thing is they don't even speak not only English, but they don't speak like any modern language at all. So like, what the fuck did he think was gonna happen there?
Like, how would you communicate with them?
Yeah, did he this probably didn't happen, and this is all just my imagination running wild. But like, I can imagine that he probably was like, yeah, through the power of God, they'll listen. They'll understand me and they'll listen.
He should have brought
and
them.
And it fucking got you killed, dude. That's not real.
Yeah, no. I mean,
we've met like delusion at its finest, dude. And it literally got his life taken from him.
We've met a couple people in real life, like people who like to do missionary work, who are like completely like that. Like, I'm just gonna go spread the message of God everywhere. I don't care. Which that's not what I'm like clowning. Like, there's a lot of religious people, right? And like I know sometimes on the show it kind of seems like I am like anti-religion, or like I make fun of religion, and I personally don't really do that. But that doesn't mean you're exempt from being clowned on, right? You're not exempt from criticism if you're doing fucking retarded shit like that, right? Like, you think God's up there like, go, my son, go one last time. No, like, honest, I don't think so, right? But that could be me, okay? And it's kind of a good point you brought up, the whole, like, they don't speak really any known language that we know of. Because what I'm trying to get out here is, since they literally live on the same planet as we do. They don't have any clue about Wi-Fi. They don't know about planes like that, probably. They don't know about technology. They don't know about TV, the movies, like all this cool stuff, all the fast food places. There's literally so much that these people literally do not know about that is around them.
They don't know about 99.9% of the stuff we have going on, because they weren't contacted until
like a lot. Well, they were
like 60, 70 years ago. Or no, the first contact was
I think it was hundreds of years ago, because I believe it was a conqueror named Cortez. I could be wrong, but he showed up on the island. They kidnapped some people. When they went back, the old couple died, but the kids survived, so they dropped the kids back off. And they think that's what started this hatred for foreigners, right? Well, because the kids probably spread the stories of what happened, and now when boats appear on the thing, oh, absolutely not, bro.
Yeah, well, regardless, their contact has been very, very minimal that we know of.
Yeah,
So you can take thousands of years of history and they don't know a damn thing about it.
that's happening around them at
Even
all
the
times.
stuff
Yeah.
that they are living through, they don't know because they're literally isolated on an island.
So it kind of begs the question here that these people just don't know that it's happening around them, right? So at a larger level, the fact that this island even exists is kind of proof that Earth could be the same situation. That's what Earth could be at on a galactic level. We could be the North Sentinel Island, right? We could literally, it's kind of like the zoo hypothesis, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but we could literally not only be like Earth is literally North Sentinel Island, and there's like a bunch of planets and stars around us that kind of just leave us alone. But we could literally share this exact planet with a higher intelligence, and we just don't know. I know some people would say, no, but we have planes, we have technology. I don't think that matters, bro. If they're a higher intelligence with better technology, they can literally live and walk amongst you guys and you wouldn't know. That's what kind of scared me when me and you talked about it. I was like, hey, like it's kind of proof that we could literally share this planet with maybe a civilization that broke off, right, from the last cataclysm or like a disaster. They survived. They don't know how to associate with us, or they don't know how to integrate themselves with us, so they kind of just hid or like let us do our thing while they're off doing something else. That island is proof that could literally be happening right now to me and you or to us, so we just don't know because it's on a larger scale, right? Which goes into what I said, the zoo hypothesis, right? We've talked about this before on the podcast. One of the first times I actually talked about the zoo hypothesis, it was actually a really popular clip. I believe I was doing an episode with Ocho or Ricky at the time. I don't know who, but I believe it was one of those two. We kind of dive deep into the zoo hypothesis. But that's kind of how we treat the North Sentinel Island. The Sentinelese. We treat them like the zoo hypothesis, right? They're being watched. There's like armed boats that won't let any other people in, which it doesn't work all the time because clearly people have came, right? People have showed up, and that could be happening to us. If there's like a treaty like, hey, leave Earth alone, they're not really ready to be contacted yet. They still are really underdeveloped, and they're like kind of like warmongering people. That probably necessarily wouldn't stop every bad thing from showing up here and trying to do something, right? So you probably still get extraterrestrials who don't listen to the rules or don't follow the treaty and still show up here and try to that could explain cow mutilations, that could explain abductions, that could explain like a numerous amount of like UFO sightings, right? So while thinking of that hypothesis, Justin, has that when that thought has crossed your mind, do you think that when the people say like, hey, well, we would know, right? There's technology, we have all these like advancements, we would know if that was a thing. Do you kind of agree with them, or are you kind of on the side of, hey, like it could be on such a scale that we don't understand that like we just don't see it?
No, I kind of don't agree with that, but I don't have like a good enough reason why.
Right, you
If
don't
in my
you don't agree that they're high that
that they would be able to hide without us noticing, but I can't really give you a good enough reason why. In my opinion, I would think that we as humans have, you know, explored damn near every possible inch of land that we could.
yeah.
If there was like somehow a civilization that's like so much more advanced than us, how do we miss that? And you could say like they live on an island or a mountain or
Or under the water and
some. Well, I mean, underwater isn't land, so I mean that's possible.
yeah, they could be. Or a lot of which I thought it was weird because some of the UFO sightings have there's rumors and like sightings where people will say they come out of volcanoes or go into volcanoes, right? So like if you are gonna hide from us, you're gonna do it in places where we can't really go, right? Like we can't really go underwater like that.
I mean, that might be true then. Yeah, I'm talking about just like how we live.
Yeah,
Like a city, a town, just on land in general. Like it's hard to imagine that they would have like this really super advanced city with like big buildings and lights and fucking flying vehicles and stuff like that, and then we just don't know where they
and we just don't see
reside
it.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm starting to think since David Grush's, interview and him, just him being a whistleblower in general has become a thing. And also when he suggested that like, non-human intelligence are making deals with our government, the zoo hypothesis is starting to seem like one that might just be what it is. And I think that's why they claim that a lot of humans wouldn't be able to handle that type of information or, disclosure will be hard for a lot of people. Because imagine a lot of us probably think like, nah, we're the top dog, we're the apex predator. There's nothing that we control Earth, right? Like we're the ones that control this. We're in charge. But imagine finding out you're not in charge. Imagine finding out that no matter what you do, these things can stop you. Like no matter what you do, these things they don't. It doesn't matter to them. They can go into the water. They can go into the volcanoes. They can go into space. There's literally nothing you can do. And imagine being told that. We talked about ants too, Dustin. At the beach together, we talked about the fact that like ants probably think they're like the smartest things ever, right? But and fish too. Like there's probably fish and dolphins who probably think like, hey, their whole entire universe is just this water, right? And yes, there is some fish that go above the water and kind of see outside of it. But for the most part, most fish, their whole lives are just under the water, right? And they have no idea that there's a whole entire world outside of that, bro. Like all they see is under the water. Just like us, right? We have certain scientists and we have certain people who go up into space and travel to the moon.
Even they don't know the full extent of that either. Because
Yeah.
there's fish that can't go to the deepest parts of our ocean.
Yeah, and there's some fish that can't even go above the water, right? Because they can't. They
So
don't.
it's like all planes.
And so to them, because I don't know what an animal thinks, right? So like, let's say ants. Maybe ants can talk like me and you, but it's not that small. We're not ants. We don't know, right? But I'm gonna assume that at some level, if these ants can make intricate, ant hills and like all the stuff that they do, I'm gonna assume that at some level they're pretty intelligent from what they are, right? And they probably have no clue that any of this is happening around them. And we shared the same planet with them. I mean, like underwater fish and creatures, they share the same planet as we do, and they probably don't even know that there's something above them that's just so crazy technologically advanced in them. Right. And I've said this in a previous podcast, but imagine you go down in a submarine, not the submersible, by the way, but you go down in a submarine and like you shine a light on a fish and that fish doesn't even know like, and then you go back up into the water, like you disappear. What does that remind you of, bro? Does that kind of sound like a UFO? Kind of sounds like a UFO, bro. Where is the fish? We're looking at it like, wait, what is that? And it just goes right back up to where, and it's just studying. That's what people in submarines do. Divers, they're just studying, right? A lot of them are just studying and looking at what's going on and trying to find stuff. And hey, we made a finding here. Like, oh look, there's like maybe this is a lost city that got lost, right? I'm pretty sure most divers aren't going under the water and like being malicious. There probably is some that do that, but for the most part, they're probably not malicious. So that kind of brings me to another point about who might be watching us and who might be involved with stuff like this. If they really wanted to take over and like just do really bad stuff to us, they could have done it already. Right? If they're able to like turn off our nukes and they're able to like basically render our biggest weapons unusable, they could take us out easy. And the fact that they haven't done it yet should really fucking worry you. I know that sounds weird to say, like the fact that they haven't hurt you yet should worry you, but it's true though. Because that means they're kind of showing you their power without showing you their power. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're kind of showing you their muscle without flexing. Like you're like, oh, ooh. So the fact that we don't even know who's watching, there probably is some people who know what it is, or like they have somewhat of an idea of what it is. But it's like almost trying to explain to a fish that, hey, there's a guy on a boat that is like up here, and sometimes they come in here and catch you and eat you. And like, what? Why would? But then there's some that actually.
What's a boat?
Yeah, what's a boat? What are you talking about? And then like, hey, but there's some who just come down here and research. They don't want to harm you. They just want to look at you, record you, get some things figured out, and then they leave. Right? And that could be what's happening here. You could have non-human intelligence that there's some that just come here and take humans, abductions, cow mutilations. They have nefarious intentions, but then there's some that probably come here and just research. They probably just take whatever they need. I'm not sure if they even use cameras or photos, but they probably, do what they got to do, research, watch, and leave. And if our government knows about that, it's like, how do you explain that to everybody? How do you explain that like these things can just show up when they want? They don't have to listen to you. We don't know if they're good or bad. They can turn off our nukes. They've been here forever, and there's really nothing you could do about it. You would almost feel like an ant at that moment, right? Imagine telling an ant that, like, hey, no matter what you do as an ant, these humans can come and just step on you, and you're done. They can take out your entire anthill. There's nothing you can do as an ant to stop them. No weapon you make, nothing you do as an ant colony can stop this human, bro. So you just kind of have to live life and kind of just do what you're doing and just try not to think of it. How do you think an ant would react to that? I'm pretty sure, bro, like a lot of us would freak out hearing that. And that's probably why they won't tell us that kind of stuff. That makes sense to me. So it kind of started with the whole North Sentinel Island talk, the zoo hypothesis, who's watching us, why are they watching us? And that could just be what life is, bro.
The North Sentinel situation is kind of the same thing because they're so, I don't know if barbaric is the right word, so I apologize.
Yeah, and also before you continue, just keep your thought right there. I earlier I said that we're kind of like a higher intelligence compared to them. No way, shape we are, but in no way, shape, or form am I trying to say that because they're from an island or they're barbaric. So it's kind of what you were just about to say. Like, we're not suggesting that they're like retards or like they're so I get what you're saying.
I was insinuating.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. But
I don't know if barbaric is the right word. I think it's like archaic, barbaric. What I'm trying to say is like they're so far back as far as advancements go. They don't have modern day weapons. They don't have modern day education. They don't have modern day clothing. They don't have like nothing that we have. So we're like that to them. I mean, you made a joke like if a Navy SEAL drops down into that island with like
night vision and
night vision, like unlimited amount of resources, like he can literally fucking John Wick that whole shit. And then they can't. What are they gonna do?
They can't do anything about it.
I mean, they have like bow and arrows and like spears and stuff like that they killed the fucking missionary dude with, but like cannot kill a Navy SEAL by the time he kills you.
No.
So like that's what you're kind of explaining, like is we're like that even now to them, and they're actual fucking humans,
and they live here with us.
Yeah, but
they're
share
the same planet with
far
us.
back as far as like everything goes. Like they can't do shit.
And we at some level, the reason we made it illegal to go there is because we're like, hey, we gotta leave them alone. We don't contact them. Don't try to force religion on them. Just leave them alone.
I remember telling, I had a conversation with Kylie about this. I don't remember why it got brought up, but like they were saying that even like just contact in general with them can kill them.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the immune system to maybe combat like some of the stuff that we went through.
Imagine
like we evolved in a way to like battle that kind of stuff naturally. Who's to say that you don't cough on these fucking guys and they just don't have the proper, system to battle the common cold. So they just die. Like it wipes out like half their fucking community because they're just not up to speed with everything.
Kind of reminds me of the Brazil UFO incident where, the guy claims he picked up the occupant of the craft and like he died. Whatever happened to whatever he touched affected his body so bad that he died from it.
Yeah.
What Justin said earlier, you think of it as a plane, right? Like not all fish can go to the very bottom, not all fish can go to the top, not all fish can go above the water. So like the universe is probably just like that at every level. At some level, there's someone probably watching the watchers, and it just goes on forever, right? There's probably, and there's a lot of dimensions that we just don't know about as humans, right? There's a lot of dimensions that we can't see. They even claim like the human eyesight, there's like a lot of majority of that we can't see. Right? Cats can see certain things that we can't. Right? It's been proven like cats can see things that we can't. Remember I told you about that one incident where the people they moved and then the cat followed them to New York, bro, or like it followed them from New York to like Colorado, right? Like how?
Yeah.
They claim cats have this thing that like will always show them their way home. We don't have that. So it just at every level there could be. It's really creepy, and like I just I think it just all boils down to what you're willing. And before we end the episode off, what you're willing to accept. And this is this is how I'll end tonight's episode. Just a lot of the stuff we talk about here. It's not to scare people and stuff, but it's just open your mind a little. What are you willing to learn and accept? Are you willing to change your beliefs based off information you're given? Or does it not? It doesn't matter to you. Like you're always gonna believe that the Christian Bible is real or the Quran's real, and like it doesn't matter what these people tell you about non-human intelligence. It doesn't matter to you. You don't care. Like this stuff will probably go by easier if you're willing to like learn and just maybe try to open your mind to some new things, right? Because like it makes sense that we're not the apex predator here, right? Like it's kind of like what Qui-Gon said in Star Wars, right? Like he said, there's always bigger fish. Like there is, like even like at a star level, right? The sun's massive, but then there's a bigger sun, and then there's black holes, but there's literally bigger black holes. There's always something bigger and more badder than you. Right? So to think that we're not only to think that we're the only ones here, because we're not, because clearly the North Sentinel Island is proof that what if they say that amongst themselves? We're the only thing and we're the only people here, but they're not. And we got to stop thinking like that. Not only are we not alone in the universe, but we're literally probably not alone here. We probably share this planet with a past breakaway civilization, or there's something we can't see at the moment. Right? And they're probably protecting us. Bro, you know what I mean? They're probably protecting us. Like, hey, these guys don't know what they're doing. And the fact that they're trying to show us they can turn off our nukes suggests to me that they do share this planet with us. Because why would they care if there's going to be a nuclear fallout? Why would they care about that if they don't share this planet with us? Right? It would make sense. Like, hey, imagine like if we found an ant colony that made a nuke. Right? I'm not saying I know
trying
that.
to imagine that,
Yeah, or like imagine like a tribe of chimps that like fucking made an atom bomb. We're gonna like, oh wait a minute, no, we can't. We share this fucking planet with you guys. Like we can't just let a tribe of chimps blow this shit up, right? And if you think about it at that level, that's probably what's just happening, right? And it's I know it's kind of mind blowing to think about, but that's just what it is. So.
But now that you brought up the chimp thing, I saw a video a few days ago where this like I think it was an orangutan, or if that's even how you say it.
Some people say orangutan, but yeah, I would say orangutan.
Yeah. So like he saw this lady in the zoo with a fruit snack, and she like put it in her purse, and like we'll put it up right here while I'm talking about it. But like he was trying to get her to pull the fruit snacks out of her fucking purse. Until she showed him the fruit snacks, like he kept pointing at her purse. She would pull out like something, and he would like just keep pointing until she pulled out the fucking fruit snack. And then after she pulled it out, and she's like, "Oh wow, he wants a fruit snack." He showed her where in the cage he could sneak that shit in.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it was fucking wild because I was thinking to myself that like,
oh, that's actually cool, dude.
There is like forms of, I know you mentioned fish earlier, but like there are forms of like intelligent life around us that like
like crows,
we call them like animals, right? Like you said, crows, monkeys,
octopus,
dolphins, like we all share them, right? And for us to think that like we are like the apex predator, like we might be in a sense, but we could easily be the animals
to something else
here that we're just not aware of.
Yeah, they could use us for our energy. They could like use us to mine stuff. We don't know,
which would be really weird to think about, but
that we're not the apex predator.
Like, that, and just if we're not, like how do we
miss it?
Yeah, and like how do we not see? Because like fish, they see us. Ants,
we do,
even though we're like
technically we do see them, right? Like we see UFOs, we see stuff, right?
But we don't see the occupants. Like we don't see the predator. Like a fish can see us in a boat looking for it. An ant can somehow see us. Do
you consider us a predator to them? Because
Not
think
like
of it
not
this way:
that. I'm
not
just
all
like
humans are bad, though, right?
yeah.
So
I'm
like,
just saying like how
yeah,
you were saying like we're the apex predator of the earth, but
yeah,
like to them, I was just making a
yeah.
connection. But like,
Well, it's cool because
how
like,
do we not see what our apex predator is?
yeah, for sure. Because
Like we see UFOs, but we don't see.
not everybody gets to see the occupants of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because going back to crows, they'll do this thing where like if you're nice to them, they can remember you up to 10 years. But if you're mean to them, like they'll teach their entire family to hate you, bro. And it's kind of reminds me of like the North Sentinelese, right? Like whatever happened when that guy kidnapped those two kids and the old people and they brought the kids back, they probably just taught their people from that point on, hey, when the boats show up on that shore, nope. Right. And at a level, like I wonder, because like crows are really smart too. So I wonder if they probably know there's bad humans. And
Mm.
so if if you think about it, everything in life is that. Like there's bad sharks, there's good humans, there's bad humans, there's good plants for you. There's plants that will literally kill you. There's animals that are lovely to be around, but then there's some of them are like, oh, don't go near that one. There's water that you can swim in, there's water that you can't get in, right? Like literally everything in life, there's a good air. You can breathe good air. There's air that you can't breathe, right? So like literally at every level, there isn't just one of something. Like everything has like the opposite of it. Like there's bad wolves, right? Bad wolf, and there's like just to make it short, it makes the phenomenon more creepy because what we're seeing, like, are we seeing the good ones or are we seeing the bad ones? And if they're bad, what are they doing here? Like what? Because they could take us out, right? Easily. So why haven't they? Are they waiting for something? Is something supposed to be coming? But like there's been years thrown out, like 2027 ish, that time frame. Like what could they possibly be waiting for, and what would that benefit them, right? So it's just something to think about. But yeah, that's the episode 119, guys. Didn't mean to creep you out a little bit, but North Sentinel Island, you guys should look it up. It's actually a really fascinating thing to even think about because it really is proof that we literally share this planet with people that don't even know about us. They know nothing about us. And because of that, I truly believe that at a different level, that's what we are. And you guys should look it up because I don't feel like I did that story justice. There's so much more story behind it and like other people who have tried to contact the island. And you guys will probably get a really good kick out of that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Catch me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, IG Reels, Facebook Reels, all the good stuff. And until next time, peace.